When I started this project, I wanted to understand why Matthew's Hope, a homeless aid organization in Winter Garden, Florida, struggled so much. After all, they pursue a noble cause in a way that anyone can agree on, right? After some investigation, I realized I needed to see the problem on a larger scale to understand why they have such a hard time staying afloat. I had to zoom my focus out, way out, way out, to the point where the homeless shelters are only a speck on the map. The root of our problem begins with the American dream. One of the staple elements of living what is considered a successful life is to own a home. There's nothing wrong with that in and of itself, but a larger market for home ownership eats into the market for rental housing. As such, rent is inflated to compete with the potential return on investment as owning and then selling a home. This makes low-cost housing scarce and unfavorable. Not every homeless person simply plummets into homelessness through addictions or unemployment. Many are normal people that simply cannot afford rent. The government tries to intervene and subsidizes housing, paying for a portion of the total rent to the landlord so that the individual can better afford the roof over their head. However, the government cut back on how much they spend on social welfare, so fewer and fewer people have access to this program and others, which exacerbated the problem. To make up for these cutbacks, the government has devised a new type of program called Pay for Success Plan, which offers a reward to an organization for completing a specified task, such as rehoming the homeless. But here's where things get tricky. In order to reach that goal, the organization must get funding from private investors to cover the costs of achieving that goal. The idea is that if they spend less money than the reward, everyone turns a profit. However, if the organization fails to meet that goal in the specified time frame, nobody gets paid. This program sounds reasonable at first, but when you think about it, it becomes obvious that the government has simply shifted the responsibility of the homeless problem they created to the private sector. Now, this monumental issue lies almost entirely on the shoulders of nonprofits. They have to scrape for funding from every venue possible, be it retail stores, donations, corporate grants. None of these are very reliable, and the aura of uncertainty it creates greatly affects the work of the organization. Once I learned about this, I realized that the problem goes beyond Matthew's Hope. They're not the only nonprofit that is struggling to shoulder this burden. Nearly all of them are. When they can't receive the funding they require, they have to cut vital parts of their programs, lay off staff, and oftentimes just close for good. The pressure is too great. If the problem of homelessness is to be properly addressed, it will require a massive coordination between multiple offices of the government and the private sector. Unfortunately, the infrastructure for such a movement does not yet exist. Until then, organizations like Matthew's Hope will continue to strive to lend a helping hand.